The time has come for me to replace my aging '07 MacBook Pro with a new laptop. And now I'll clean it. I had this for the past 1.5 years, over 1.5 years, in use as a university laptop, as a student laptop. I carried it everywhere, not just university, also when I went on trips and everywhere. So it has been used, it had a rough life, and it's pretty disgusting. Now, from this side, it doesn't really look all that bad, but when you fold it up, yeah, it really doesn't look that great anymore. I'll give you some close-up before shots. We got here this huge coffee stain, which happened this week actually. Yeah, then we got all sorts of crap between the keys, all sorts of breadcrumbs and other very nasty shit. And we got this, which I have no idea what this is supposed to be. I'm afraid to touch it. Looks like a yogurt or something. And yeah, we got all these pen stripes all over it, because that always happens when I have a sheet of paper and I write something, since the place is usually very, very small in the lecture room or so, and so I always would like put the sheet on the computer and write, and when I throw the pencil away or so and it's still, you know, opened up, what can you do? Also here, the screen is all dirty and full of fingerprints of people showing different stuff. And so as you can see, this has really been used. This was bought to me to be used, not preserved, just a work laptop, like one of these work vans from a construction company, which is only job is to drive and nobody looks after it. So this will change with this video. So now, since I am retiring it and maybe also selling it, I can't leave it in this state, and I also don't want to. I want to make it look pretty and shiny again. But this isn't just a, you know, let's wipe it off and it's good. This will probably need a couple of runovers. So we will start with a very unconventional method. You've probably never seen it this way, but I will in fact take a dust buster and clean the room between the keys. Why do I do it this ghetto, unprofessional way? Well, I'm just too afraid of removing the keys. These keyboards, I'm still like astonished that all of them are intact and work. Some of them are weak. Some you have to slam really hard to get it, you know, to do something. For example, the command key on the left here. Of course, now it works all the time, but yeah, it's as you can see, sometimes it doesn't work. But now it worked again. So it's just a little quirk of it. Other than that, all the keys work, but they're made of plastic. They're very fragile, and you see a lot of these MacBooks on like for sale with broken off and missing keys because they're just so weak. So I will just try to suck all the crumbs and everything out of it, and hopefully not a key along with it. That would really suck. Haha, it would suck, get it? Well, whatever. So, after this very unprofessional and stupid method, I have to say it worked. Between the keys, there isn't anything left anymore that I can make out. There came so many hair out. That was gross. Now, of course, it's still pretty dirty and disgusting, but you can't believe how much it got better by just doing that. So I can't wait to see the result once we hit it with the sponge. So here I have the sponge. It is soaked in water, but just barely wet. So, you know, of course, computers and water, they don't like each other all that much. So you gotta be careful, but it's necessary. So what we'll do is we'll clean the back first. Now the back is now, I think, somewhat okay. That is, of course, the main goal here, to make it look okay. We can't obviously make this look brand new anymore, since it has this dent, which, you know, a fellow student crashed it down with his backpack, and I dropped it once, and, you know, it survived quite a torture, so it deserves this clean. But it's not gonna look like brand new anymore, obviously. So we get the monitor cleaned. Still not perfect, still some grime left there, so I will do that again. But we also still got these little pen stripes all over the machine. I just forgot about them, actually, just so used to them. And so I will, before I will continue this whole cleaning, I will get an eraser and try to kind of erase it. Same with all of these. And then we'll see, we'll continue. So, now I did the trick for some reason on the trackpad and here perfectly, but these remaining ones are very, very hard to get off. I reckon if you just keep scrubbing it, it will eventually disappear. They get smaller and smaller. Maybe they're also scratches, I don't know. I'll just try to add some. With the help of some soap, it disappeared as if it was nothing. And they're all gone. Yes, it really worked. So we now have a somewhat clean monitor and still not a very clean bottom top part. So we will tackle this coffee stain. It still stinks after all these days. So underside is clean too. But the only thing that's left is the ports. Now they all look pretty fine to me except the MagSafe. I don't know if you can see that, but just look at disgusting. Yeah, the rest is fine though. So that cleaned up pretty well. I will now try to get this dirt out with a toothpick. And then we'll see. So I did all of this for every port, and I, didn't want to let you sit through all of this, so I did that off camera. But it cleaned out very good. Now there's still some left, but I guess with enough scrubbing you could get this out. But I think it looks way better than before. We got also everything from the USB ports out, and here on this side, the DVI also has a lot of gunk in it when you stick a toothpick in here, and it all came out. It looked very nasty. Anyway, now it's looking presentable. Now you say probably now, yeah, you're done. You cleaned it. Woohoo! Well, not yet. We still got one thing left to do. Actually, make that two things we still have to do. I just realized there have come some screws loose. I don't know how that could have happened, but I guess it happened. It's an old laptop after all. That made a funny squeaking noise. Anyway, we'll tighten all of this since this is already starting to kind of jiggle around. I thought it was just because of, how it is, but actually it was because this screw isn't tight. Same with this one. And probably this one too. Yep. There are a lot of laptops which are terrible when you only touch them 5-6 years later, and this being from '07, it still feels pretty good. It's heavy. I'm also looking forward to my new laptop, which is way lighter than this. It's a very heavy machine. It's kind of thick, but the thickness isn't a problem to me. But what really astonished me still is the build quality. It's definitely taken a beating with this abuse over the last 1.5 years, and I was always afraid of one day this latch mechanism here feels kind of fragile, but that this might fail at some point. But no, it still works. Also, the latch itself isn't worn out like with a lot of old laptops. Now, yes, it wobbles a bit, but that's to be expected. I mean, I gotta say, if you don't know, I bought this for $100 used with no battery and no power supply, so you gotta respect. Also, it's missing these feet. I was thinking of replacing them with something you buy at your hardware store, but I'll just leave it this way. Maybe in the future I will not put the optical drive back in, since it only makes it heavier and nobody uses that anyway. And yeah, I will now do the last thing, which is kind of a little special thing. I've never done that to a computer, but I thought it's good on this one. So we will use this. That is Tropical Sun for car interiors. I use that in my car and it smells so good. And it says it's for plastic, but how can it hurt aluminum then? So I guess to make this smell nice, since now it's looking great, but it smells like this with this terrible smell of this soap I used, with this dishwasher soap, sort of stink it has. So I don't like that. So we'll try to clean it again with this. Just make it a little. Don't want to overdo it. And so it does maybe smell nicer. And it already does. Oh yes, that was the greatest idea ever. You can disagree all you want. It smells not like a new Apple laptop smell. They even have a candle which smells like this, which I find ridiculous, but yes, there is, believe me. Now this smells, it just smells good. Don't you want to have a laptop that smells good? I bet with you nobody has a laptop that smells good and looks good. So now here we go. I think that should do the trick. We still got 2 little markers left. 2 little marks, I better say, on the Alt key and on the Command key here. So I will just try to make it a little wet. So, and here is the finished product. My very disgusting and crappy looking MacBook Pro transformed into a nice looking MacBook Pro. I will give you some close-ups. I'm sure you still remember how it looked before. The monitor is now clean. There aren't even any stripes from the wiping, which I'm very proud I achieved. We got nothing in here anymore, just some left stuff from the eraser. and it's fixed. Then we got here some more from the eraser, not bad. This part, you remember, looked very bad, very disgusting. I was afraid to touch it. And now it's all gone. Keyboard looks, well, not brand new, but it looks good enough. And same with here, the trackpad had these marks on it. Now it still has a mark here. It's like all these little things you only notice after you did everything. But yeah, there you go, it's gone. Also the side here, no, that was the other side. Here had a coffee stain, all gone. Also the back's looking shiny again. And I don't know if I'm just making this up but this even feels better. Like before it just felt crappy to touch also with all this gunk on it. Now it feels shiny again. Just how you want it to be. And yeah, there you go guys. This old Mac cleaned up pretty darn well. As I said, it was never supposed to be like super taken care of by me. It was a workhorse, work machine, only needed to run, and it even like took this as it was nothing. So yeah, I will now show you the little imperfections that we cannot unfortunately fix. Maybe you could if you were very skilled, but I'm not gonna attempt it. Here we have this. This is this happened when it dropped the first time. It made a bend in here between the LAN port and the DVI port. It's looking not too nice, but it didn't really do anything in terms of functionality. Same with this corner here, that also is a little scuffed. Then we got a little flex here, which is to be expected after all these years. But with the screws tightened, it feels better now. We get also a little ding here, probably from all the million times taking it out of my pocket and hitting with something, unfortunately. Yeah, and we got also a little imperfection here. Little dent there, as you can see, it's coming up there. That's unfortunately also probably because of the drop. And its biggest problem it has right here, that's the ding in the monitor. And again, that was when a fellow student hit it, unfortunately, with his backpack, and it fell down, and it sounded pretty bad, but it didn't really do anything to it other than these little dings. And the underside, except these are missing here, is looking pretty good. Scuffs, of course, as to be expected after all these years. And I haven't really taken care too much, since I think it's a laptop and it needs to be used as a laptop. So I will not put it into some fancy case to make it even fatter and heavier, like some people do. Now, its maybe most visible problem is this here. This is a power button that kind of collapsed in there. And don't ask me how that happened, but it happened. And so, yeah, this is unfortunately, maybe I pressed it too hard once, but like from one day to the other it happened, and there's nothing you can do against that. So yeah, guys, there it is, MacBook Pro all working again. Beautiful. I like it. See you later.